Is the thought of seasickness putting you off your first cruise? If so, stick around because we're going to be taking you through lots of tips to make sure you have a great sailing, even if you're on rocky waters. Hey guys, and welcome back to Get Lost with Ben and Gareth. If you're new to the channel, my name's Gareth, and today I'm going to be covering a topic which is very common within the cruising world: seasickness. So first, what even is seasickness? Basically, it's when your brain gets confused. Your inner ear, which controls balance, says, we're moving, but your eyes don't always agree, especially if you're in a cabin with no windows and you're staring at your phone. That mismatch triggers nausea, dizziness, even headaches. The trick to beating it is reducing that sensory mismatch, helping both your body and brain agree on what's happening. If you've ever had that feeling in the car when you're reading and you suddenly feel queasy, well, seasickness is much the same. Now, a common question is, does size really matter? Well, when it comes to cruise ships, it does. Bigger ships are heavier, more stable, and they slide through waves with less movement. Smaller ships, on the other hand, think older vessels, expedition ships, or ferries, they bounce around a lot more. Now, you can still feel it on a big ship, especially in rough seas. But if you're prone to seasickness, starting on a large modern ship is a very smart move. Modern ships have stabilisers. Think of them like aeroplane wings under the water. They extend from the hull and automatically tilt against the ship's roll. When a ship tips to one side, the fins generate lift in the opposite direction, cutting down the side-to-side motion. They can't cancel everything. You'll still feel some movement in heavy seas, but they make a big difference. Have you ever sailed on a ship that doesn't have stabilisers? If so, let us know in the comments what it was like. Can you really feel the difference, especially in rough seas? Now let's talk cabins, because this can make a real difference when the swells are high. The middle of the ship, both lengthways and vertically, is where you'll feel the least motion. Imagine a seesaw. The ends move the most, the middle hardly moves. It's the same principle here. So if you're worried about seasickness, go for midship and low down. The cabins right at the bow or stern, especially high up, are the worst for motion. And if you can, choose a cabin with a window or balcony. Fresh air and being able to see the outside really helps, even just mentally. Being shut in an inside cabin can make nausea worse because your eyes have nothing to focus on. The next biggie is itinerary, because where you'll sail makes a huge difference. The Mediterranean, for example, is often pretty calm. It's perfect for a first cruise. But if you sail from Southampton, for example, you'll likely cross the Bay of Biscay, and that area is notorious for being rough, especially in spring and autumn. Alaska's Inside Passage is another good one. Because the route weaves between islands, the seas are more sheltered. But for certain crossings, like the North Atlantic in winter or the Drake Passage to Antarctica, they're famous for being really rough. Have you braved the Bay of Biscay or even the Drake Passage? If so, I'd love to know how you got on. Let us know in the comments. Now, in our experience, if the seas do get choppy, one of the best things you can do is just get outside, get some fresh air, and look at the horizon. By fixing your eyes on something stable in the distance, you're helping your brain line up what your ears are feeling. It really does work. What you don't want to do is bury your head in a book or scroll on your phone. It just makes it worse. Do you have any tricks that you use? If so, let us know in the comments and share them with our community. Next, let's talk potential remedies, because there's quite a few. In most cases, it's said that medication is the most effective. Things like hyoscine patches or motion sickness tablets. The important bit, take them before you start feeling unwell. They work as prevention, not cure. Other more natural options, and this is one of Ben's favourites, ginger. It really makes him feel better if he starts feeling a little bit queasy. You can use ginger tea, ginger capsules, ginger ale, or even ginger sweets. It doesn't work for everyone, but studies show it can help. And in Ben's case, it certainly does. Another thing, which sounds a little bit weird, but Ben's tried it in the past and it really helped. It was ice cream. It was just typical mint ice cream. I think maybe because it was cooling, it just helped calm him down and just made him feel more at ease. So if in doubt, why not try a bit of ice cream? It can't hurt, eh? Another thing some people swear by is the wristbands, the acupressure ones. Hang on, let me go and get some. Yeah, ones like these, you can get them on Amazon, eBay really easily. Now, we've never actually used them because it's never got that bad that we felt like we needed to, but they're nice and easy. You just pop them on and away you go. They don't work for everyone, but a lot of people, as I say, swear by them, so it's worth a go. And especially if it's your first cruise, I'd highly recommend taking something like this, or at least some medicine, just in case. Rather than preventatives and medicines, that kind of thing, there's also some good habits that you can incorporate into your cruise just to make things that little bit better if things are getting rough. Things like eating lighter meals, avoid too much alcohol, get plenty of rest, and head outside for fresh air. Honestly, sometimes just a bit of cool air and horizon gazing works wonders. And you never know, if you're in the right part of the world, you might see some whales or dolphins while you're there enjoying the waves. Unlikely, but you never know. If you've got a go-to remedy that works for you, as always, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Now, to date, our rockiest sailing so far was on P&O Cruises Arvia. We did a transatlantic sailing in March and it was rough. Now, the good thing is we weren't too bad ourselves. I'll tell you what the worst thing was for us, aside from the motion, which did partially keep us awake. It was all the creaks, the bangs, you could hear the water thrashing up onto the hull. It was really noisy, so I think that was the worst part of it. But every staircase on the ship had sick bags, and once you start seeing those around the ship, you know you are heading for a bit of a rocky ride. So let's summarise everything we've covered today. Bigger ships normally equals a smoother ride. Stabilisers cut down the roll. Midship, low cabins are the most stable. Some routes are calmer than others, so choose wisely. Look at the horizon, not your phone. And take remedies before you feel ill. Seasickness is manageable, and honestly, most of the time, you'll forget you're even at sea. Cruise ships are so smooth unless they're in really rough waters. As always, thank you so much for watching, we really appreciate it. If it's been helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Let us know in the comments what's been the rockiest crossing you've ever had. We'd like to hear from you. Until next time, stay cheeky, sailors.